Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 204, the 204th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the amazing Spider-Man Defense Force, Jaden.
Howdy.
I heard a noise right as I started talking, so I got totally distracted, and then I transported to the year 2026, where we're in episode 300. Sorry. And, of course, a resident Irish citizen, a.k.a. PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hi.
Hello. Are we hyped about the fact we just hit 500 subscribers on YouTube?
501, yeah.
501. Says it yawning.
Hey, every episode is after I wake up, pretty much, you know. So.
Oh no, that's fine. I respect that. It was just like the visual was great. I loved it. Oh man, it's been a long road. It's been a hard road, and we don't really care. So. But hey, here's to more. Here's to 1,000. Let's go for it, for sure. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere else you get your podcasts. So go ahead and subscribe if you enjoy. This week, the movie we're reviewing is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which opened in the US May 24th, 2024. It was directed by George Miller. Once again, it is an action-adventure film, and the synopsis says, the origin story of renegade warrior Furiosa before her encounter and team-up with Mad Max. Okay. Went to the cinema, had a good time with the reclining seats. That was probably my highlight. I don't know about you, Jaden, but...
The fucking 4-second joke at the start, yeah.
It was just so... Because I've been in that theatre many times, but I've just never... I don't think... Was it like our particular seats? I don't know what it was, but I've just never experienced that.
Okay.
When you hit the button and it was just like the longest fart noise. It was great. Anyway. And then someone else behind us was doing it in the movie. I broke. But anyway, we saw Furiosa, and I'm very curious as to what you thought about it, Liam.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it fixed a lot of the problems that I kind of had with the first one. I think the characters are more interesting. I think the story was more fleshed out, more thorough. I think the action was still there, but it was just kind of different. It was just kind of smoother and more kind of digestible. And yeah, I don't know. It pretty much had everything that the first one did for me, even in the score, which I thought was awesome. And just had those extra elements, even like the Aussie accents were there, for the most part, and it had a more like authentic Australian feel, I guess. So yeah, I had a great time, and I think like the revenge quest, it just ramped up perfectly in the end, and it was just, I don't know, incredibly satisfying once you get to those kind of end sequences when Furiosa just like when she develops more and more kind of agency, I guess. So yeah, I had a great time with this film.
Excellent. I also enjoyed it. I don't think I pretty much agree with everything you said. I don't think it's going to be able to. I didn't love it enough to where I don't think it's going to end up being like one of my favorite movies of the year or anything. But there is no doubt in my mind. And I'm saving Jaden for last for a reason, and I can't wait to hear what he says too. But there is no doubt in my mind that this movie is superior to Fury Road. Like I get liking Fury Road. That's cool, but I'm being totally earnest when I say if anyone likes Fury Road more than this movie, I don't know what they're on. You know what I mean? This movie is like literally Fury Road with a decent story and actually cool characters. That's how I feel. Jaden, take it away.
I think Fury Road is way, way better. I was really disappointed with this film.
Really?
Yeah, big time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think the constant cut to blacks completely ruined the fucking flow of the film. It just felt awkward, and like it never felt like there was a consistent kind of progression to the film because it just keeps on fading to black, and for no fucking reason as to using a normal other cut. I think, as I said when we were leaving the thing, I think the sound was incredibly disappointing. That could just be a theater thing, and I think it was because it just felt like none of the speakers were on apart from the front two. So that sucked. I think a lot of the action felt really whack because like of the lack of music or like the really subtle music that they opted for instead of Tom Holkenborg's kind of amazing kind of work that he did on the other one. I think the
Really?
editing felt a lot worse as well, just in general, other than the cuts. I think the acting wasn't anything impressive. I think Chris was fine. I didn't think it was anything overly amazing. I think the story was kind of suckish, but that's only because I know so much of the world building from the comics that like all this wasn't really anything new to me that I didn't really care about. Yeah, I did not enjoy this film much at all.
Wow. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Wow, this is interesting. In terms of the fade to black, it's funny you say that. That's obviously highly noticeable. I know, definitely felt it as well. But like Fury Road did the same thing. I know this movie's longer and has a different structure, but
yeah, and not as frequently, and it also doesn't interrupt the flow because it's one consistent car chase. This kind of tries to tell you a more complex story. So then, in doing so, and then constantly fading to black and holding that black for 1-2 seconds, whatever, it just feels like there's a disjointness between each following thing, and especially when like you don't know when the next title card's gonna hit, which is also very fucking weird. Why have fucking 5 title cards, man? Like, if it's like which fade to black is going to be a title card to a new chapter, and which one's just going to be a jump in time within this chapter, and then which one's just for fucking no reason at all, where we just cut to the next fucking shot. Like it just felt like a mess to me. Like it didn't feel like it was just weird.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you had an issue with like the way the story was flowing and
yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's funny. Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I was definitely in the boat where like every time it faded to black, like, is there going to be a chapter card here or not? And then like I don't know, I don't know. It was like it felt like 30% of the time there was, and the rest there wasn't. I'm sure when you look at the script, like the chapter breakdowns make sense of when they move to a different chapter. But like because I don't disagree that because the movie fades to black so much, it's sort of like you sort of just you lose the impact of like a chapter sort of break. The only one that really the main significant one is of course when you switch from young Furiosa to Anya. That's sort of the main one that makes sense. But then the rest is sort of like, you could have probably put that in a few spots as far as just the viewing experience is concerned. But like, how did you feel about like the actual like the story overall, like the actual revenge arc, and how into that were you overall, like your engagement with it?
Didn't care for it.
Okay.
I think the most interesting stuff was at the start, like with when the mum was still alive. I think that was like the most interesting part of the story, and first meeting Demetus. Demetus or Dementus? Fucking I don't know.
Dementus. Yeah.
Is Demetus the Greek guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, like that stuff was interesting enough for me because it was at the start, but then I just did not care for it as it continued at all.
Okay. So you were into the idea. So why'd you like the mum? Were you into the notion of, because I like that sequence the most because I thought the tension was solid in terms of like having to protect the location and like doing everything they can to taking guys out with snipers and like doing all this sort of shit, like to really that felt like there was grave stakes in that scene, which I liked.
That's just where it felt like it was all functioning the best, where the action actually complemented the story that it was telling at that point.
Yeah.
And it was probably the more interesting side of the story because I wasn't familiar with that part yet, But when it got to expanding the lore of Gastown and Joe and all that shit, I know that stuff. But then the action didn't seem right. I think also like it just for like at that part of the story, it's meant to be getting far larger for the world, but the action felt like it was just getting more watered down. Like even that thing with like the cunts flying in the air, like that was just boring to me. There was not a single piece of tension in that fucking scene at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Like it just felt like it continually, like it felt like the story and the action were kind of moving in opposite directions. Where as that was ramping up, action was going down. And like even to the point where you told about this great war, which I do quite like. I like that we didn't get to see a great war and scene. I think the cutting of it kind of into a very compact thing was probably the smarter choice, but it still functions the same way where you're getting told about the greatest kind of piece of wasteland history, and it's just a brief thing, and like that's kind of what happens for everything in terms of the thing. It just felt disjointed in my opinion.
Are you talking about like the intro sequence where they?
No, the later sequence. Like where the history man tells you about 6 Days Wars, 12 Days Wars, World War 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
and then
yes,
talks about the 40-day Wasteland War,
yeah,
and we see nothing of it, which I think is actually a good idea, but
yeah.
it works as like an example of heightening tension here, but lowering efforts here.
Mm.
And also the car design was shit ass compared to last time. It was a lot more uninspired.
The what design?
The cars.
Oh, really?
They're all just fucking motorbikes, apart from Chris Hemsworth's fucking chariot, and that but other than
Oh,
that,
the chariot was cool.
yeah. And then like the war rig was like it's just a big truck, and then like the other ones were just kind of sedans with fucking a gun on it. Like you just go to the Middle East and you'll see that anyway. Like it's.
See, to me, I don't know how you feel about this, Fitzy, but to me, like, I felt the same way in terms of the car designs, and then also like when you were talking about the action sequences ramping down, like to me they all felt like they were just Fury Road. But but there were parts that I liked better, which I'll definitely want to get into. But like in terms of, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like when I saw the cars, I was like, oh yeah, that looks about right. Like I didn't really notice a difference in quality kind of thing.
I think they were intentionally less like evolved. But I actually like that. I like that it was more like down to earth and closer to like pre-apocalypse stuff. And I think the action, like in that in that hijacking of the rig kind of scene, it does feel different to Fury Road. It feels like a bit slower, I guess, and a bit like more. It just feels smoother and more like methodical, like the way the camera kind of has the perfect framing of the people who are like in the sky throwing the spears and that kind of thing. Like I do see how Jaden might see that as like unexciting or whatever, but I just think it was like more. It was easier to understand the kind of geography of the action in this, and the kind of I think it made the set pieces feel like kind of full in those action scenes, whereas in Fury Road you just kind of had a lot of franticness that didn't add a lot. Yes, Jaden.
But that is exactly the point of like this film is working at absolute inverse ends of Fury Road, where in Fury Road, cinematographer was told, keep Furiosa in center frame all time and forget everything else. Let action happen in the size of the frame and let it be disorientating because you want the focus on Furiosa. So now that you're saying that the action was centered, it means that George has opted for a more generic route, which is not what he wanted for Fury Road. The reason why he let his wife edit Fury Road instead of some guy was because he wanted something that felt different. But in this one, he's let some guy and his wife do it, but it felt more generic. It just feels a whole lot more generic, and that kind of centering of the action and letting it stabilize is what allows this to be a more generic action film, which is exactly what he didn't want Fury Road to be, And when you're telling this kind of great revenge quest that he's trying to tell with this story, with this character that he created in Fury Road, it just feels like you're not putting in any of the effort of Fury Road because you're just allowing this kind of generic kind of things come in that you were trying to rebel against at first.
I mean, it's generic framing, but I wouldn't call it generic action. Like the action in this is very unique.
No, not generic action. No. But the way that it's framed leads it to be more generic.
I mean, it's very well thought out. Yeah, I like your point a lot. Like to me, I don't know. Like, I really liked the Fury Road scene, if you will, like the actual scene on the the scene we're talking about on the Fury Road. I really liked it because sort of what Fitzy was saying, it felt like, I mean, I guess in simplest terms, it wasn't the whole movie. Like it was a distinct sequence in this movie of many, and it felt different to the rest. It was very much obviously like, a callback to Fury Road in a lot of ways, but it did feel different. But I liked all the ways it felt different. I feel like I understood more of what was going on and the different characters and the roles that they were playing in the scene. All the way, like Anya's not really even introduced in the scene until a little bit into it when she's revealed to be under the rig, So the way that they sort of play with that and introduce the different players involved, I just like I sort of said last time, like Fury Road, because it's the whole movie, I just sort of get lost in it and I'm just sort of like, I can't really pick apart parts of it. This was a distinct part of this movie that I understood. And was just able to be more on board with. But I don't disagree with the framing though. But sorry, Fizzy, I didn't want to get off this too quick. Like, how did you feel about like the story overall, and the 5-chapter structure, and like how into it were you the whole time? Because the movie is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I was really into the revenge quest, as I said earlier. But like the chapter thing, yeah, it was kind of weird. But I mean, it added something to the film. I can't really say what it was, but it did feel kind of epic or bookish in a way. It was like I think there was something there. I don't think it was just it did feel a bit awkward in the kind of transitions, but I liked it overall, I guess.
For me, I 100% agree with you, and for me, it's because first of all, I think I'm sort of realised I'm a bit of a sucker for chapter breakdowns in movies and in general. If it works, and for me, this one works because it feels like a saga. Like it feels like the title of the movie makes sense and is actually an inherent part of the film in a way that I didn't really expect going in. To me, cynically, the title "A Mad Max Saga" totally sounded like George before I saw it. Totally sounded like George just wanted to call the movie Furiosa, and the studio was like, "Hang on, but you got to get Mad Max in there somehow." And so they tack that on at the end just to have a cool sounding way to say it's a Mad Max movie kind of thing. But that is walking out of the film. And I don't know if that was the origin of it or not. I've got no idea. But walking out of the film, it felt like, oh no, that was a fitting title for the film. It felt like a Mad Max saga, in the way that it was broken down by those chapters, and like you said, feeling saga-ish, feeling bookish, and that made it stand out against Fury Road, and that's why I enjoyed it for that. And I feel like, you know, you can definitely debate its genericness at times, but I feel like the fact that it felt deserved in that it had a story to tell.
I mean,
you know?
It's not generic. Like calling this film generic is like so off though, because it's like one of the least. It's like one of the least generic films that's gonna like come out this year. You know, it's like so unique in every way. Like, sure, the framing is like a little less generic than Fury Road and some of the action sequences, but that's about it. Like that's the extent to which you can use that word for this film.
I don't need a generic story. It's a very
I was going to say I don't entirely agree.
It's no more advanced than Fury Road is. Like, let's be honest.
I mean, it's not more advanced in its like core, but it is in all of the superfluous like
nuance, I guess,
or just in the dynamics at play and you know, having characters that we're going to actually like. I can actually talk about characters I liked in this movie. So for me, that's a big plus. But I think I agree. Like the plot itself is nothing I haven't seen before, and that's where I think I do disagree in that part.
But even like the revenge, like even the way the revenge is kind of handled to me feels unique in the end. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, I guess I can see what you're saying with the revenge, like it being a revenge movie. But
yeah,
I don't know.
But so what makes it feel different to you? Is it like is it like the way that it's sort of left? I mean, it's not really left open to interpretation, is it? I know they have that little sequence where it's like, what really became of Dementus? But it's like he became the tree, right? Like I think that's pretty definitive, right? So is that what you mean, Fitzy, or is it just more the feeling of like the climactic sequence of it all?
Like yeah, the whole conversation in the desert and that kind of thing, and it feels like a battling of. It feels like a battling of like two different like forces, I guess, more than just like two people. It's like this. Furious is like this spirit, and then Dementus is like he's this posturing kind of nihilism. You know, it feels in a way it feels like a saga, and it feels epic. It feels like these two different philosophies are like colliding or like battling each other out on the wasteland. You know,
I think that's probably the strongest part of the other half of the film. To be fair. When she actually does speak to Chris, and you know when she does get her lines in,
which she only has like 30 lines in the movie, but
and that's where like 20 of them probably are.
Yeah.
I agree with that point. 100%. I think that is probably like a strong kind of thematic part of the film.
So you were you into? I mean, like I'll say that, like this part we're talking about at the end when, it was the final confrontation and everything leading up to it, like, I was really definitely one of the higher parts of the movie for me, for sure. I really enjoyed all that. You were into that as well, Jade?
Yeah.
With the back and forth and just
Yeah.
everything leading up to that. Yeah, I thought it was really strong as well. Yeah, I don't know. The performances. Yeah, it's interesting. I like the performances are really strong, and what you were saying about the two different forces, that's interesting. There's something to be said thematically for the idea that Dementus, like, because he makes the argument that, like, he's basically her, in that, he was. I assume he means, like, is the teddy bear for his dead daughter? Is that the idea?
Seems like it. He says that he
Yeah,
has people stolen from him too. So
yeah. So, like, he's sort of okay. That's like a cycle kind of thing. That's interesting. I mean, again, it's nothing I haven't seen before, but, like, I thought it was all the way it was pretty subtle. He didn't, like, start spilling backstory. So I felt that, like, yeah, at some point he was sort of in Furiosa's shoes, and that sort of led him to become him. That's interesting. I like that. Okay, cool. Oh, we may as well talk about the performances then. Jaden, you shockingly said that nothing stood out. What?
No, I thought Chris was pretty average. Not average, like, it was good, obviously, but, like, it wasn't the stellar performance that people are, talking about. I think he's equally good here as he is in fucking Black Hat. Like, it's I trust Chris to do a good thing. It's just him not doing Thor. Like, that's the thing. It's not like he's a bad actor. It's just him not doing Thor is why people seem to be reacting the way they are to me. Because if you watch,
right,
I don't know, fucking.
Have you seen Rush?
I haven't seen Rush, but yeah, that's another example. Like people fucking praise him for Rush, and but they're acting all surprised now as well. And it's like, watch Saddle Club, man. You'll find out how good he can be. I love bringing that up.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I
Although Anya was actually she was quite strong, and, like, that delivery of, like, her line delivery at the end is rather impressive. And also young Anya, young Furiosa rather.
Yeah. She was in a lot of the movie.
Decent. She was probably fucking in more of it than Anya was.
No, I don't think quite, but it wasn't far off.
No,
it was like, it would have been fairly, like, maybe like 60-40 or something. Yeah.
And, like, the guy that played Praetorian Jack, what was his name? Tom Burke. He was decent, but, like,
I liked him.
Once again, I saw people gushing about it on Twitter, but, like, then actually seeing it, I was like, "This."
Did you see Kojima gushing about it on Twitter?
I don't know about Kojima, maybe. But I saw people. I saw people talking about it, but then I was like, "Yeah, this is kind of what I expect from a film like this." It's not. This wasn't gush worthy. I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, gush worthy is a bit strong. I don't know if I'd gush at anything, but I thought, like,
I don't like the word gush now that we've heard it like fucking 8 times.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I gush on this show about some performances. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if I'll do that here, but maybe you can be the judge of that if I'm gushing or not. Look in my eyes.
You gush your pants.
Oh my god. So, what was I saying? Oh, but, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how you can watch this movie and think that, like, the performances aren't just way better than Fury Road.
I don't think they are. Really? No.
I think Anya. I'm sorry. I think Anya like bloody kicks Charlie. And I like Charlize Theron. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on her, but it's just like, I think her portrayal of this character is like 10 times better. I think, dude, even a Morton Joe is better in this movie. Like,
I disagree with that one strongly.
Oh god, I thought he was like, it was night and day. Honestly, like, he looked the same. That's good, but outside of that, like, this guy actually, first of all, he sounded Australian, which we brought up last week, so props for that. And then he actually, I don't know, I felt like he actually had some cadence in his voice. That was like, oh, this guy's an actual, character with dimension and not just like gruff guy. So that was, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's like the best character in the world, but, like, that was already like leaps and bounds for me. And then, oh yeah, Hemsworth, of course. I thought he was great. Fitzy, what did you think?
Yeah, I loved Hemsworth. Yeah, I think he portrayed a kind of larger than life character, and a character that was actually, he had actual gravitas and had, he was actually entertaining to watch, unlike most people in Fury Road. So, he was like what we were looking for, basically. Yeah, and his accent was amazing. And I don't know, just his face was awesome. It was just, It was just great.
His face was awesome, actually. Yeah.
His nose.
It was never not distracting, but like not in a bad way. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
just thought it was like, oh, this guy's face is weird. No, I wholeheartedly agree. When I mentioned last week that what I wanted out of Hemsworth, I got it, and I was very pleased with that.
Really? I thought he was incredibly watered down compared to what the trailers like kind of indicated of him.
No, I don't think so at all.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I thought the promise of the trailers was delivered. Look, it's not like it wasn't like Joker levels of it. Like, it wasn't insane or anything. But in terms of like, you know what I mean? Like wackiness or whatever. Well, Joke's not wacky, but insanity. You know what I mean? He was still a fairly grounded guy. This is not what I mean. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's you can see how he was a regular
but it's fun
guy.
to pretend I don't to see you keep
Yeah,
going.
thank you. Yeah, that's not very nice. But you can see how he started as a regular sort of rough Australian guy who was then just sort of evolved by the wasteland a little bit. He's sort of become a little bit off kilter. He's not totally deranged or anything, is what I'm saying, in my opinion. And so with that, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he rips his nipples off, so that's pretty deranged.
Yeah, that actually is. Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. It's not deranged for the wasteland. You know what I mean? It's not nearly as crazy as like the War Boys, in my opinion, all the spraying shit. But anyway, I just thought I totally disagree with you, Jaden, in terms of it's just not Thor, so that's why people are impressed. Like the other roles you mentioned, like he's playing, I don't know, a regular guy or whatever. Like this is.
What about like you've seen Bad Times at the El Royale, right?
Yeah, that movie sucks, but yeah.
Do you like him in it though?
I can't really remember, to be honest. But like, yeah, he plays like a cult leader guy in that, which is like, I don't know, yeah, cool, whatever. But like for me, I'm just saying that like, for me, I like the performance not for the reasons you're saying. Like, I thought that the accent was unique. I read in the trivia that it was a combination of like he took parts of like his grandfather and all these different things, and I was just like, oh, that's really cool. And just like some of his line reads, like I know it was in the trailer, but the way he says it, ready, steady, go. Yeah. It was so good. And there were definitely a handful of those in the movie that just made me like chuckle and just think, oh yeah, no, he's eating the scenery in this movie in a way that he doesn't in these other roles that we're talking about, chewing it up.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why it stood out for me. And like you already mentioned, Fitzy, with the Aussie accent, just like, thank God, doubling down on it. That was fantastic. That's what I needed from Fury Road as well. And I'm glad that, I mean, we agree that they did that across the board, right? Not even just in Hemsworth, but I feel like there was just more. I just heard more Aussies in this movie.
Yeah.
In where?
Just everywhere, like in all the, like all the dudes around Dementus, like in his camp, and like again, Joe, and yeah.
But then
even the War Boys.
The War Boys in Fury Road were quite Australian.
No, they weren't. That's cap. That's so cap, dude.
I can watch the movie again.
Okay.
The fucking main
Nicholas
friend. The fucking he's fucking literally Australian.
He's Australian, but like there were way more in this film.
And the old guy that's on fucking Furiosa's war rig, he was Australian big time as well. In Mad Max Fury Road. Like the one that's like, what's going on, boss? It's like, why are we not going to
that guy was, I know he's going to it. Yeah.
But then in this one, fucking what War Boys do you hear speak enough that you can say, oh, they're way more Australian?
Everyone in the war rig sequence? Come on.
No more than it was in Fury Road. And then your other two leads, fucking Praetorian Jack and Anya, they don't put an Australian accent.
Oh, Praetorian Jack has an Australian accent.
Praetorian Jack was Australian.
He did. He had an intentionally obvious Australian accent.
He's British, so you might be getting confused, but he did not have an Australian accent.
I don't know if the speakers were that bad for you, but
I've seen Tom Burke in other films, and I know what Tom Burke sounds like. That's not his accent. He put on an Australian accent in this.
He might have put on an accent, but it wasn't Australian, mate.
It was. It so was. It so was.
The accents weren't as Nope.
Are you joking now? I can't tell.
No. I just really get the point that this is more Australian, and No,
but about Praetorian Dracula, are you joking? I
genuinely did not hear an Australian accent in him. I heard an accent. It wasn't fucking Australian.
Okay. We need to send him some clips or something. I don't know. Or he needs to
Yeah.
rewatch the film, I guess.
He needs to rewatch the movie with headphones and realize that he's wrong.
Oh yeah, maybe it was the fucking speakers in the theater because those.
That's the only explanation.
God, again, I just want to clarify how dog shit they fucking were.
So like, yeah. So walking out, we talked about that a little bit. I don't disagree that they were quiet, but like, it wasn't something that really bothered me watching it. Personally,
I can remember the experience of watching Mad Max Fury Road in a theater, and how loud and how enthralling and how all encompassing the sound was in that. And compared to this was shithouse. It felt like I was fucking watching some fucking shitty TV drama, that had been mixed for, a fucking soundbar, like it didn't sound like, a big theater, like action film. It didn't sound like a Mad Max film. The engines were mostly quiet. There was maybe 3 revs that were kind of loud. The dialogue was muffled mostly, I'd say. I fucking struggled to understand a lot of the start. The elements and the weather sucked. There was no weight in the sandstorms. The sound was just really bad.
do you recall where you saw Fury Road?
At Reading Cinema in Cinema 5.
Cinema 5. Wow.
It might not be Cinema 5, but it was definitely, you go in and then you go fucking right, and then I reckon it was one of the ones on the left. But whatever that one is, that's where I saw fucking Fury Road.
Didn't we see Apes in Cinema 5?
Could have.
I think we did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we should have been in Cinema 5. So the seats weren't worth it in the Titan Lux, clearly.
No.
Unfortunately.
Well, Titan Lux, is that not meant to be fucking better quality sound as well?
I've got
honestly
got no idea.
Like,
I guess that would make sense.
Titan Lux, like, fucking show it.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that would make sense. I liked this character, Jack, though. I thought he added... I mean, we walked out of the movie and we realised I didn't realise he died, which was embarrassing on my part. But I liked him. He was like a cool mentor character. He's kind of that like quiet character. I don't know. It was kind of like... He kind of felt like Max in that he started quiet and sort of didn't, just sort of stoic guy. But then, when he starts becoming a mentor for Furiosa, it feels earned, and I sort of like that role. Although, did that relationship end up becoming romantic in some way?
Yes.
You felt it did, yeah.
So you're saying it's predatory in the fact that he was a mentor to her.
I mean,
Furiosa's relationship.
Furiosa's age in these movies is totally fucked. So, like, maybe it's fine.
Well, yeah. So, like, Anya is the same age as Charlie's character at the end of this film and the start of Fury Road, because it quite literally leads right into it. So, whatever age you see that as, I guess.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's like, so you're telling me Charlize was like, would you say early 20s?
Actually, there was a significant time jump between that last scene because a whole tree had to grow through Chris Hemsworth. So,
okay. No, that's fair enough. I didn't really think of that. Yeah. A whole tree, yeah. A whole tree had to grow through Chris Hemsworth. How did we feel about that specific element, actually? Because it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit, just because. But I'm not as familiar with the world, so I don't know if that like makes sense in the world, or it just felt a bit fantastical to me.
What?
The idea of Chris Hemsworth becoming a tree.
Yeah, that's a real that's a real medieval torture thing, right?
Like what? Really?
People do it with bamboo though, because bamboo is really fast growing. Like it happened a lot in China, where like you strap someone down and then you grow a tree through them.
What? And they like sit there for months or whatever, years.
Yeah, but bamboo is so fast growing that it's not years. It just happens. Like it happens pretty fast.
But how long do they live for?
Until he kills someone, fucking though.
That's wild. So like your body can do that?
Yeah.
Are you serious? I can't tell if you're trolling me.
No.
I've never heard of this.
Thing. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
astonishing. Let me search this up to confirm it. Actually, because
as someone who did not have this knowledge in any capacity, like I thought it was weird. I thought it was some weird, like the movie going fantasy on me kind of thing. Which I mean, it's Mad Max. I guess it can, but like if this is
I didn't take that as necessarily like true, because in that part they were talking about like different possible outcomes for Dementor, so it wasn't like confirmed that he became a tree or anything.
Well, I think we were. I sort of read it. I sort of read it as like they went through the different possible options and then they confirmed it was the tree. That's sort of how I read it.
Maybe, yeah.
because he was sort of like that. Some people say this, some people say that.
And then Furiosa told me that.
But
yeah.
Furiosa told me, yeah. I mean, which I guess I don't know if Furiosa might lie, but I sort of took it as like he was framing it as the truth.
Yeah, so in 3 days,
Okay.
in as soon as 3 days, bamboo can penetrate a person.
But they're living.
Yes.
But like this is something people have done, I guess. Well, I mean,
Yes.
people have to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you having that at least vague, like I know you just researched it, but like, you understanding that I think you've heard of it before, right? That means like it worked for you in the movie, I guess. I mean, that's wild. I can't believe it. Were there? I definitely want to talk about the action a little bit more, but
What action?
were there? So okay, you know what? Screw it. You've goaded me. So you didn't like the whole like taking of Bullet Town?
Bullet Town was a good sequence.
Okay,
I'd more than happy to concede that.
Now we're
But
talking.
all the shit with the cars was very boring compared to Fury Road.
But what is there? So what is there in that other than the oil rig and like maybe the final chase kind of thing?
I don't know. Other stuff with fucking Chris Hemsworth bike gang early on, you know.
They were just driving around places.
Yeah,
that wasn't action.
No, it wasn't action, but like even like with the fake taking of the thing when they take Gastown.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't very interesting.
Okay.
I mean, I get it was a fake setup, but still,
Yeah.
What else? When like at the Citadel, like when they started like craning up the fucking vehicles and shit, and they all had to like flee. Wasn't really exciting at all.
Oh yeah, that one was forgettable for me too. I suppose. Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with like there was a lack of music in these sequences, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I thought so.
When you have fucking Tom doing such a good job on the last one, why are you saying no? Don't do a good job here. Like,
it worked for me though.
No, it didn't. It removes all tension from the fucking scene. There was literally nothing to kind of keep you gripped in the scene.
I think Fitzy mentioned it earlier, so I want to see if you agree. But like for me, in that, I feel like I've got to call it something better than the Fury Road scene. I feel like I've got to call it something better. But like
in the one action scene, you can say.
But that whole scene, it was definitely I definitely noticed at some point there's not a ton of score here,
no.
and then as I started noticing it, I started noticing some didgeridoo starting.
There was a very subtle didgeridoo that came in, yes.
And but I don't think it was very subtle. Yeah, it was like it wasn't what I would have expected. It was kind of quiet, but I wasn't subtle. Like it was very present.
Maybe my ears are just
fucked. Yeah, I'm gonna say like, are you deaf?
Yeah.
Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Usually that's me.
I thought the didgeridoo was awesome. By the way, that was like
I thought it was great. Yeah,
the thrumming kind of didgeridoo. It was like a pulse pounding. It felt loud enough to me. And in those two big action sequences, that was where it was like most prominent. And it was really good in those sequences.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It was yeah, and it was very it felt very with the rhythm of the action as well, at least to me. It felt like with the engines and with like the cars, with like the speed of the cars, it just felt it all really meshed for me. So yeah, I do disagree on the score. Like, were there any other parts of it? So I know you've kind of gone to war with the score, Jaden, which is I'm kind of shocked by because I thought the score was really good overall. No. Okay.
No.
I feel like so. Do you guys agree that the sort of iconic Fury Road part that we talked about last week? That's the oh god, you guys always make fun of me when I try and do sounds, but like that was the
I tried to do that last week and you guys like looked at me blankly. I'm like, it's the fucking Fury Road sequence. Like it's the main thing.
I understood it. Sorry, I don't know. I can't remember what I looked like last week, obviously, but like when you did it last week, I understood what you were doing.
Good,
like,
good,
I agreed with you. Yeah. I believe Tom Junkie XL. I can't call him Tom. Junkie XL saves that until like the final part, right, where they're like hunting down Dementus, like like she's out there in the car, really getting to him. That's the first time I remember like really hearing it.
It comes up like a little earlier when they're in Gastown, but that is mainly where it's used. Yeah.
Okay, because by the time we got like the way the score it ramped up for me, because by the time we got there and like Furiosa's in this car going after Dementus in the dunes, and it's like at that point it's just like it's all in on that part of the score, and you're just going no no no, and it was like, and that part was actually like quite loud, and I was like, oh yeah, this is hype, like this is really really working. I really like that part.
Yeah.
I think that added to the overall satisfaction of like getting Dementus at the end, you know.
Well, yeah, I think there being more score at the end makes more sense because we're just like further into the apocalypse, like into that kind of Mad Max, into the setting. So like there being more, crazy. There being that theme specifically occurring more as we get further along in this in the setting, like makes a lot of sense, I guess.
Makes perfect sense. But I feel like a lot of movies don't do that though. Like it makes perfect sense, but
well, a lot of movies don't have like this unique of a setting, I guess. But
true, yeah. In terms of I liked everything. I sort of glossed over the taking of Bullet Town, but like I loved all the sniper action in this movie. Was awesome. I loved it. Like Anya just being a beast, taken from my mother, of course. That was really well set up, and I thought that was all really satisfying to watch. And it was just sort of a new wrinkle on things. I don't recall there. Oh no, there was some sniping in Fury Road a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, you see Furiosa fucking blind the bullet farmer.
Yeah, that's right. But they really doubled down on that aspect of her, which I liked.
Yeah. It makes sense as to her mother was a sniper. It's like
exactly.
It makes sense as to why she can shoot the bullet farmer's light.
See, that's the kind of backstory you really needed. But Jen, so you mentioned that you struggled with the sort of the connections to and sort of the way it was adding to Fury Road and the backstory and prequel stuff because you knew so much of it already.
Yeah, I mean the whole Demetrius thing is all new stuff to me. Is that was never in the comics.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the other world building stuff around it wasn't interesting to me. I think just mentioning the sniper as well. I think a lot of the gun violence was also a lot more boring. Like like it had the same kind of like flow to it as when Tom and fucking Charlie's in the first one and shooting cunts from the fucking truck and then turning around and fast and doing all that stuff. But it was just a lot more plain. There was just no punch to it, and like I don't know. Yeah, did you not feel that? No, I guess not.
No, again, I feel like I could see it and understand it better, and it stands out more in my mind because the film has very distinct sequences. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, I was interested in the way it sort of acts as a prequel to Fury Road because I don't know what I was expecting, but it honestly tied in a lot more than I thought. Even like I knew Immortan Joe was going to be in it, but like it was very much about like the Citadel and the politics of all that leading into Fury Road. Again, like just much like the comic that Jaden showed me last week, like both that and this movie had 10 times more story than Fury Road, which is cool. Yeah, I liked all that stuff. I feel like I don't know if it would turn me around on Fury Road, but like it definitely adds to Fury Road for me.
But it like Fury Road doesn't need world building. Is the thing that I think I need to like kind of convey. It's not a film that needs world building to be appreciated.
I think it did. Oh yeah, I mean maybe not world building specific. It needed like it's not. We did our Fury Road review, but it did for me. It needed more for me for me to appreciate it personally. I mean, you're obviously. What am I trying to say? You're not alone. You're very much.
Yeah.
People agree with you, obviously. Mad Max cameo, yay or nay?
Well, the fact that you didn't fucking realize it was Mad Max is a.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. That's very on brand for me, though.
That was, yeah, it was good. It felt. Was that supposed to be like Mel Gibson Mad Max? Like the jacket felt like more like leathery and like classic than Tom Hardy's jacket in Fury Road. It felt like older, or like newer, I guess, but like an older model.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, it didn't feel like Tom Hardy to me. Like we couldn't really see him, but you know what I mean. Like in terms of the aesthetic and the jacket, I agree. You didn't like it, Jen? You liked it?
No, it's fine, but I disagree with it feeling like Mel Gibson. I mean, like Tom Hardy's jacket in the first one is just, it is just the Mad Max jacket.
Yeah, but it's in so little of the movie that it's sort of I don't really associate it.
Mm.
I
And you've
suppose.
seen how much of the first one have you seen that you associate it with Mel?
Well, but I think, come
Yeah,
on, iconic imagery,
sure.
which again, I'm not denying that I didn't understand it was Mad Max, but in looking back on it and understanding that, it's obviously an iconic shot. I get it. Yeah. Cool. What about the visual language of this movie? It felt. I saw some. To me, it just felt like Fury Road, but like I always, but like Fury Road's visuals were always strong, so like that's great. But I saw some people saying it felt different to them, and like they noticed some different green screen and stuff going on that stood out. But so I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. I didn't really notice any of that, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I definitely noticed some green screen stuff. Like in the Fury Road sequence, especially when you're looking at like the War Boys, the background looks very it looks very CG, and it was very noticeable. So that's it did take me out a little bit, yeah, in those sequences, those shots. I mean,
Mm-hmm. This it also just does feel more Australian than the landscape. Did you feel that? It didn't feel, it felt more Australian. The rocks and the sand felt Australian.
I
A
think
little bit.
No,
No, not really. To me, to be honest, not overly.
I thought that was like distinct.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely felt that I think Fury Road looked way better visually. Just like it felt like there was like a less obvious digital effects, I guess. And like once again, like digital effects aren't a bad thing ever. Like sometimes they're very strong. But like in a film that's kind of so lauded for its practical effects, the digital stuff did feel very like kind of, not in your face. But what's the word? It just felt obvious, I guess. Which is probably the worst thing that it could be.
Yeah.
And I think like there was like a cheaper look to it, don't you think? To the whole film.
Well, it's funny you guys were saying that it felt like more Australia to you, because it didn't to me, but it was filmed in New South Wales, and we were talking about last week how Fury Road wasn't. It was filmed in that, where was it again? That African country? I can't remember.
One of them.
Yeah. One of them, yeah, exactly. So to me, like from that, I figured that they're using more green screen because they need in these backgrounds, like they need it to look more African to make it more line up with Fury Road. Because, but that sort of, I don't know, that seems to.
I think the CG for the Citadel was rather like average. Is where I'd say I probably felt it the most.
But okay. I think I don't know. I just figured that because they were shooting here, that would be an aspect of why there was more green screen. Just trying to piece it together. I don't know. George Miller said this film's script was already complete before Mad Max Fury Road was filmed. In order to tell that story cohesively, we had to know everything that happened in the time before. So we wrote a story about Furiosa from that time as a child, as she refers to in Fury Road, until she became who we saw in Fury Road. That ended up as a full screenplay with concept art and so on. And all the actors, designers, and the crew got that screenplay before we shot Fury Road. Poor George loves having movies. All these movies, 10 years basically is sort of the timeline on these things at this point. So it's a long ass time, of course. And speaking of 10 years until we get the next Mad Max film, George Miller revealed that he has another Mad Max story, tentatively titled The Wasteland, ready to go, depending on how well this film does, which it's not doing too well, unfortunately. Like this film, it was born out of all the prep that went into making Fury Road, Miller stated. So we had to write the story of Furiosa while we're doing Fury Road, as it turns out, before we meet her. We also had to write the story of the year the story of the year of Max in the year before we encounter him in Fury Road. You understand? So we have that story. There you go. So he's got another Furiosa in the chamber, if you will, for that Mad Max year before Fury Road story, if we want to see that. Would that be called Mad Max, a Mad Max Saga, or
it's called Mad Max Wasteland?
Mad Max Wasteland? Maybe it's, I don't know. Is it, if you put the chapters in it again, it's a saga. So Who
No,
knows?
but like the title of Mad Max Wasteland just existed for ages. Like I've known
Right.
that to be floating around for fucking ever. Same with Furiosa, you know, like ever since fucking 2015.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
those talk of Furiosa, so like, you know, makes sense that both of them have been planned for so long
Yeah.
because like yeah, both have existed like as like a listing on like IMDb, I think even, but like you know just
Mm.
on the internet people will be like, oh yeah, there's an upcoming Mad Max film called Wasteland, and you're like when, and like oh sometime.
Maybe never now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not overly hopeful that we'll get it at this point. I mean, I think if just like I think we'll get it in some form. Like I wouldn't be shocked. Like when they do those comics and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if we get it somehow as a book or a comic or some shit like that. But as a full film, I'm not. I don't know.
The film's not
Just a
doing
few.
too bad, is it?
Well, I don't know. I just keep. I mean, I'm no expert of like analyzing the numbers, but they didn't look great. And then, like, I looked at them raw, and they didn't look great. And then, like, I sort of wanted to see other people's opinions, and everyone was saying it was bombing. And I was kind of like, I didn't necessarily get that from the numbers, but I don't know. I
Mm.
trust people more than me. Yeah, everyone was saying it was rough. I don't know, but then it's so there's. I mean, that's obviously an element to it, but then also it's just like George is getting up there. Can he do another? Can he wait another 10 years for this? I don't know. Unless he can pump it out quicker. I don't know. There's a few things involved where I don't know if you'd get it, but I genuinely hope so. Though, if it exists and ready to go, then why the hell not? Let's do it. We'll get to Andy's review in a second, but I was just curious how you guys felt about the choice to have Fury Road clips playing in the credits for this movie because it felt unique. I'll say.
Yeah, it felt like coming off the high of the film, and then it kind of felt exciting, like I had like a newfound appreciation of Fury Road. And then as the clips went on, I was like slowly wearing down, and like it had an inverse effect where I was like, I don't know, it was just reminding me of a lesser film, so it just felt bad in the end, but it was
I think
interesting.
it was interesting. I think the initial feeling is what they were going for, and then sounds like it weighed
Yeah,
off. Yeah, I've never really. Yeah, it stood out to me as a choice personally. I thought it was odd, and I didn't really like it either. It kind of, yeah. I feel like you want. Yeah, I think the idea is that you're meant to feel propelled into the next one and be excited, like, oh, I can go. Oh, that links to that story I really like, but like, I don't know. Maybe if you like Fury Road, it works more for you. Maybe just because I don't like it that much. But so I guess I need your opinion on that, Jaden. Or if look by the look of you, it didn't really stand out to you at all.
No, I didn't like it. No,
Oh, you didn't like it? Okay.
no,
Yeah,
because I
I
didn't like
agree.
the film.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like, what if you want to do this as like a double billing? You know, what if you want to go straight from Furiosa into Mad in Fury Road? You know, it's like, but
Yeah,
now
they
I've
try
seen
to
Fury Road. You
squeeze it
know,
in there.
it's like,
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. They tried to have it that way anyway. Okay. Andy wrote in his review for Furiosa. The very thing I was put off by the most. Oh yeah, this review is just a rant about this one aspect of the movie, by the way. The very thing I was put off by the most was how Furiosa's character development was lacking a sense of place. The younger version was initially to have been born and raised in Australia and clearly speaks with an Aussie accent. Important events do occur in her life which may result in turning her into an orphan and staying mute for a longer period of her youth. But even so, Furiosa was still surrounded by Australians who worked with her, spoke to her, and I'm pretty sure she would have never left the country. Yeah, I don't think so.
it's safe.
Uh, safe bet there. Yet once Anya, as the adult version of the character, started speaking, I was genuinely disappointed that the American accent was slipping out. It didn't make sense either, since you shouldn't develop a new accent all of a sudden when you're mute, and you haven't been exposed to it by anyone since you're hardly going to find Yanks in the middle of the Australian desert. This aspect isn't actually the problem with the film, but it's a small detail that pissed me off a little bit. But it's a matter I would like to hear you guys' opinion on. Other than that, good visual experience, but audio needed to be better from Reading Cinema. Interesting character backstory that documents Furiosa's revenge tale that leads up to Fury Road. Feel the sense of fury with Furiosa. Thank you, Andy. Is it? I assume he's playing on my Zencaster, right? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Okay. For me, I don't disagree that it stood out with you, Andy, but for me, it's more of the choice of like, why did the little kid have an Australian accent? Because Charlize is American in Fury Road, which makes sense. I don't want you to get Charlize to do a bad Australian accent if she can't do one. So, okay, that's fine. Then the language of the character is that she's American. So, like, why'd the kid have an Australian accent?
I'd rather Charlize have done like a South African thing than fucking American. I mean,
focus. Yeah. Really? Nah. But it would have been bad
to do South African rather than fucking American.
Well, I imagine that she didn't do it because it would have sucked. Like, I'm sure they tested it.
Nah,
I don't want a distracting accent.
Yeah. But like in terms of like, I don't care about the logistics of it, like, because Andy has an issue with the actual logistics of the, it doesn't make sense of the the way the accent developed. That's not my issue with it. My issue is just with, in Australian films, I'd like to hear Australian voices, but like from a world building perspective, I don't really care that she's now, got this newfound accent. That's just how shit works, in films. It's just an unfortunate reality. People can't do Australian accents, but like, it's like that side of like, it doesn't make sense as to why she's here. I don't care about, we've discussed, you can't really apply logic to a lot of things in Mad Max timeline.
Yeah.
This being another one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is just unfortunate from the others, like from like the real meta side of Australian voices.
But don't you think it's an easy fix just to have the kid not be Australian or do an American accent?
But she is an Australian. Why would you force a far less experienced kid into doing a voice?
I mean, I don't know her obviously, but like kids can do an American accent.
Yeah, but why would you actively quell an Australian voice then? That's what I'm saying.
Version of the character but
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. Oh yeah, for Andy's point, sure, but like that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter from like logically. It doesn't. I don't care. In terms of
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair enough. I get that. Andy gave the film a 7 out of 10. By the way, sorry, I didn't say that. There you go. Okay, speaking of, are we ready for our final verdicts of Furiosa?
No.
Sorry, my bad.
Well, first of all, the bullet farm sequence was awesome. I enjoyed that a lot, and the final car chase sequence that was hype. Like that shot of her coming down the hill and like basically running over those guys on the motorbikes. That was when the film came to full like fruition for me, and kind of the the pent up momentum kind of just became went into full force. So those two sequences, also great action sequences that we didn't really talk about because we were distracted with other things. But yeah, I liked those.
Special shout out to those. I agree. I liked them for sure. Jaden didn't like them.
No, I thought the bullet farm thing. I said that earlier. The bullet farm was strong when you.
I think you said you hated it, but.
Don't think I said I hated bullet farm. I think I said I hated other parts, but I can guarantee you go back and listen. I said I liked the bullet farm.
No, I think you said
he hated everything. Yeah, he hated it.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure he did. Let's get to our final verdicts for Furiosa. Jaden,
I'll go to a 5. It is just infinitely disappointing to me. I was so excited for it, and it just, it didn't necessarily do things wrong. It's just that it never delivered on anything that I was kind of hoping for, especially after, Fury Road. Actually, no, it did do things wrong. Yeah, we did mention it, and it did many things wrong, but
Sorry, George. George. It's a 7 for me. I liked it. And by the sounds of it, I think Fitzy liked it more than me.
I don't know. 8, 9, 8. I'll give it an 8 for now. Yeah, I think it was just an exciting, interesting, unique film, and I really enjoyed it. And I think the action was awesome, and everything was good, and yeah, it was a good film.
Did anyone think it was a bit too long? Because I also did feel that. Just a little bit.
I didn't feel the runtime.
Okay.
No, not really.
It's like I said, okay. I thought it was a 2-hour film when we got out. I didn't realize it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, true. Yeah. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Let me tell you, if we can do it, anyone can. And that's thanks to Zencaster. Like a lot of other podcasts out there, our show is recorded over the web every week. But trying to record a podcast with platforms like Zoom and Discord can be an audio quality disaster. I'm sure you've heard some of the podcasts I'm talking about with long delays, sound cutting in and out. It is not pleasant. Zencaster captures studio quality sound for all of your guests right from your web browser. Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. And with Zencaster's all-in-one platform, you can create and distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations all in one place. Go to Zencaster.com/pricing and use our code CinemaEffect to get 30% off your first month of any paid plan. That's Zencaster.com/pricing with promo code CinemaEffect with an E for 30% off today. Feel a sense of Zen with Zencaster. Let's get into news chat. Let's talk about this Knives Out 3 thing. So, I don't know, how much you guys have seen the updated stuff. You guys broke this to me on Thursday night in terms of they confirmed that the third film is called Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. This was, did we say this was a U2 song title, right?
No.
Isn't that what we said?
I think so. I think
It's not U2, is it? Hold on. No, wasn't it someone else?
Yeah, I think this one was U2, and then
That's what I
second
recall.
one was the Beatles. First one was Radiohead.
Right. I think that's right. Jane will fact check us. But they confirmed that's the title of the movie. Daniel Craig confirmed, of course.
Yeah.
Get told, yeah.
I just thought when we were searching it up on Thursday that we had a different conclusion. I didn't realize.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So yeah, they announced that. That's great. I'm very excited because these movies are awesome. Daniel Craig's coming back. So here's okay. I don't know. I think you guys already mentioned a few of these to me. There might be some new ones. I don't know, but I'm just going to read the reported list of names that all the big outlets are going with. It's Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, Kaylee Spaney, Andrew Scott, Kerry Washington, Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, and Daryl McCormack. Who's Daryl McCormack? I don't know who that is.
Who's Glenn Close?
Are you serious? Wait, you don't know who... Wait, are you joking? Glenn Close? You know who Glenn Close is, surely.
I've seen hardly any of these films from it.
Oh, really? Glenn Close is a big deal. I don't know who this Daryl... wait, what's...
Daryl. He was in,
Daryl?
Good Luck to Leo Grande or something.
Oh, yeah, with Emma Thompson.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I see that. Okay. Peaky Blinders as well, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's a British dude. He's getting around.
He's in Twisters.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Get hyped for that. Yeah, everyone know him for that by then, probably.
Mm.
Did we know about Jeremy? Did you guys know about Jeremy Renner? I saw that this morning.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's his first gig since he almost died, right?
Forget about that.
Yeah. Seriously, I think it is. Okay. No, that's cool. That's a cool cast. Does it have? I don't know. How would you stack that up against the others? Does it have the same? Yeah.
Doesn't this indicate that Renner's going to be the murderer?
Why?
Because Chris Evans, Marvel hero, plays a villain. Ed Norton, Marvel hero, plays a villain. Jeremy Renner, Marvel hero, is going to play a villain.
Wow! Wow, that's interesting. do you reckon? I reckon Ryan's aware of that. I reckon he knows. I reckon he's thought of everything.
You reckon he's caught on after the pattern of two?
I think he has. Okay. I think he has.
Okay.
I would have a hard time believing that no one had mentioned that to him.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he'd be on. So if anything, that might rule him out.
Mm.
Ooh, yeah, we're going
to now because we're ruling him out so early. It's going to be him.
It's going to be him. Yeah. Exactly. My early pick for the murderer, knowing nothing about this movie, is Andrew Scott. I can see it.
No, but Andrew Scott's, he's because he's already. Wait, hold on. Andrew Scott's the Ripley guy, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's already done Moriarty, so I feel like he can't really do. A bit predictable. You know?
Do you reckon he's got to go with a chick this time? Because he's done two men.
Oh
no.
Not necessarily. Yeah, I don't think he has to necessarily. I don't think that is a prerequisite or anything.
But who are the women in the cast?
Mila
Kunis
is
too old to be.
Kerry Washington.
Mila Kunis could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, Mila Kunis could do it. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's probably the most likely woman there.
Can't
yeah.
imagine Kerry Washington doing it though.
No, I can't either. She's got a nice,
Until we see
she's
a
got a nice
trailer for it,
complexity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that.
Kaylee Spaney, I don't even know. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't say that. She's like the innocent person. No. I mean, unless that's like the thing. That's the point. But like, you know what? It's Mila Kunis. I think the thing about these, the common thread between, other than the MCU thing, between Knives Out and Glass Onion and who the killer is, it's that they both actually like the asshole characters, but they're like not even. It's not even like it's not meant to be hidden that from the start they're probably the biggest asshole character, at least one of. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot of assholes in both films. I mean, that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah, but they're like they'd be in like at least the top 2 assholes in the films.
I don't think Chris Hemsworth is played as like one of the main assholes until the end. I mean, Chris
Evans.
Yeah.
No, yes, he is.
Not really, because we're seeing because he seemed to be helping, like in Anna for quite a while.
Yeah, but he's a dick.
He's a bit of a dick, but like it feels understandable for the portion of the film that we're meant to feel like he's not the killer.
Yeah. No,
we feel like the family who's
make a good
bickering
point.
over their dead father's fucking money is meant to be bigger dicks than Chris Evans is at that point.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But I still stand by like his character trait is dick. You know what I mean? His penis. So I don't know, maybe there's something there. If Mila Kunis is also a dick in the movie, then we have her. We got her. So yeah. Okay. No, that's fun. That's a cool cast. Do you guys? Oh shit! Should I? No, I can't be stuffed. I watched the Bear season 3 trailer and I didn't like it. So I don't know. Not because like it's the Bear, right? So like anyone, if you like the Bear, it's the Bear. I'm gonna watch it, like, because I like the Bear, but like this trailer, I think it just made me. I've never seen a Bear trailer before, I guess, and it just made me realize the Bear isn't suited for trailers because it's like it's all the stuff you expect from the Bear smashed together with this weird trailer music, and I'm like, no, this doesn't work at all. This is not a trailer show. You know what I mean? So I'll watch it when it comes out. All the episodes are dropping at once, which is weird. I don't think they've done that before.
What's dropping?
Sorry?
What's it on again? Oh, Disney.
Disney, yeah. So,
yeah,
they're all dropping at once. So anyway, we'll be able to watch it soon, very soon.
Is that the death of the show then? Like Disney doesn't trust it to be its weekly release schedule anymore?
I mean, the show's bigger than ever, so I don't really. It's an odd choice. I don't disagree with that, but it's like it doesn't really line up with how good the show, how big the show is at this point. Sort of odd. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I watched Detachment, which is a film about a substitute teacher. Actually, I mean, yeah, it's about him, but it's about this school, this underperforming school, and you kind of get like little glimpses into the other teachers' like lives, and it's just like a kind of. It doesn't have the perspective itself of being like cynical. I wouldn't say necessarily, but it's like it's battling that perspective of like, bored students, apathetic parents, bored teachers, and that kind of thing, and that kind of cycle. So yeah, it's kind of a depressing film, but it's interesting. It's got like a bunch of. It's got like a really stacked cast. It's got like Lucy Liu and James Caan, and just like people you wouldn't expect to be here.
Is it Caan or Cairns?
Huh?
It's Caan.
Is that like a?
Yeah, that's
a
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but what's his name? Adrian Brody's really he's really great in the film. He's very he plays like a very like crestfallen, just like depressed kind of character. He feels very like just like devoid of any kind of energy, but he has kind of an arc in the film. It's very weird because, as I said, the vignettes kind of like interrupt his story a bit, and so it doesn't really. It's not like fully focused on his arc, but he has this underlying kind of hope or like underlying kind of attempt to like connect with students his own way. I think that's more or less what the film's like about, like breaking those kind of barriers and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's an interesting film for sure. It's like it's a very weird looking film as well. Like it looks like it was shot. The filming it looks very like clean. It looks like very HD. Like it was shot on like a commercial, like a home camera or something. But you'll see what I mean if you like just look at like a clip or something. It's like I don't know. It looks like something in like a they show in a store on TV with the super like ultra sharp images or whatever, and like JB and like The Good Guys or something.
Right next to Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah. But then you have that super sharp like focused camera, and then you have these kind of harrowing like sequences. Like the film has some really kind of disturbing stuff happen in it. So it's a weird contrast because it doesn't try to hide anything really. So yeah, it's an interesting film. Check it out if you want.
What was it on?
Netflix. It was on Netflix.
Oh, okay, cool. I've never really realized this, but when this came up, I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm interested in like teacher movies, I guess. whatever subgenre that is, that sounds interesting to me. That's cool. I'm also completely, by the way, flabbergasted that Adrian Brody was good in something. Flabbergasted. Unbelievable.
You didn't like him in Succession? Or?
No, it's complete sarcasm. He's great.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I told him so.
Yeah, sorry. So my highlight is that I watched At-One-ment again, and I watched the director's commentary of it. I sort of said so I've now watched 3 movies with director's commentaries, and it's become my favorite thing in the world. And I don't know why I haven't done this earlier, but so I'm going to definitely continue on this path. But I sort of like writing down like my main takeaways from them. So I did that in my Letterboxd review. I guess the only things I would add. So go check me out on Letterboxd, by the way. Join my like 12 followers or whatever it is. But I guess the only things I'd add are I really liked how Joe Wright talked about like I love learning about blocking. And like it's so great when he's right there and he's like you're literally watching it, like as he's telling you like, oh yeah, and right there, and it's just like, oh, it just makes so much more sense. Like when you talk about some of these concepts, sometimes like sound a bit ethereal. So I love that aspect of it. He's talking about Keira Knightley in a certain shot where he's like, she like basically they came to a problem where like she was hidden behind another character, so they had to give her a reason to move, and like the way and it was like they gave her a story reason to be moving in the scene, so she could be seen in the shot. I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And there's just things you would never notice that I found really interesting. And then also just like there's so many times he came up where there was a scene and he said, yeah, this scene is not at all what I imagined. We ran out of time. I imagined it being this and this, and instead it's just this one shot, and we had to change the whole thing. And it's just like you would just never know because it's just like, oh yeah, that's a cool shot, that's a cool scene, whatever. And it's like, yeah, I had like it's multiple times where he's like, oh yeah, I had like a 4 shot list for this, and then we had to scramble and just get this instead. So it just I don't know, it's fascinating. It makes you wonder like how many great things in movies you love where it's just like, oh yeah, that was not at all what that was intended really. So yeah. Anyway, 2 more takeaways, but I loved it. Loved watching it. Great movie. Jaden's favorite movie as well. Speaking of Jaden, what is your highlight of this week?
I watched Arrietty, or The Secret World of Arrietty, the Ghibli film. Quite good, quite nice, very cute. It is one of those kind of ones that kind of sneak under the radar a bit because it is, not one of your emotional epics that they kind of tend to tell. It's just kind of one of your more cute ones that's about kind of like fantastical stuff, and it's exactly that. It was good.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What did you drop it? What did you
8.
give it? Oh yeah, nice. Okay, cool. I don't know. I feel like you'd have more to say about it, no?
No, it's just one of those. It's just a cute, fun story. Just get in,
Okay.
get out. Fuck off.
I know that.
Yeah.
No, I respect that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think you just made me feel self-conscious of the fact that I just talked about Atonement like for 3 times longer, and we just reviewed it a month ago, so I feel a bit bad now.
No, I definitely spend my time yapping and sitting in highlights. So,
yeah, I don't know. Okay. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is a good example of an actor taking a role outside of their usual range? We had to convince Luke to write this one. Chris Evans in Knives Out. I think it's a totally valid choice. 100%. Although, actually, you know what? I read on Reddit as part of looking for this. I was like, I spent a bit of time for this one. And people in Reddit were saying how, like, Captain America is arguably Chris Evans in a role that's outside of his range. And I was like, huh. I mean, I haven't seen enough Chris Evans films, I guess, but that's an interesting argument. Because the Knives Out argument only stands up against Captain America.
Well,
Yeah.
Take
he
Captain America
plays.
out.
He plays another superhero in fucking Johnny Storm or whatever Fire Guy is in.
He's kind of a dick, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's more of like a.
But he's
I
still
guess
a
he's
hero,
more brash.
you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you also like Gifted, and he plays like the caring uncle of the orphaned child.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, you watch something like also one with Alice Eve, Starter for 10. No, the other one. So there's another like romantic movie that he does.
Yeah, rom-com. It was in Sunshine as well. It was like pretty normal dude in that one.
I guess Scott Pilgrim's the only other one that kind of supports him as being a dick.
Yeah.
There's probably other stuff I'm forgetting as well, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the Grey Man.
Maybe I'm not educated enough.
Later, I guess. But...
Oh, the Grey Man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, villain there. Yeah, but that was after. Yeah,
great
good
film.
point. Yeah, still haven't watched it. Sorry. Maybe I actually should just watch that like tonight or something. Andy said I probably won't. Jackie Chan in dramatic roles such as Derek Yee's 2009 film Shinjuku Incident. Yeah, and Martin Campbell. Shinjuku.
Yeah,
we going there? Okay,
yeah.
In Tokyo.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you. And you'll be taking me there. And Martin Campbell directed, aka Casino Royale guy. I know who Martin Campbell is, Andy. The 2017 film The Foreigner, a film that features IRA bombers. Liam's blood.
Hey, don't just my great grandfather like that. He was a great man.
Oh my god.
He was a patriot.
Patriot. Yeah. It's not a surprise he took this route because he stopped doing Cantonese language films in 2006, converted into a CCP. Can I say this? Into a CCP Gaylord Beijing prick.
No, you see, this is the shit that gets you fucking in trouble in China, and you're talking about you don't want to go to China because you're worried you say something wrong. This is the shit they're going to pull up,
Yeah. Okay.
Just say prick, and then keep
Yeah.
Converted into a prick. I can't even say Beijing.
No reference.
So like, is Gaylord actually the least offensive part?
Probably.
Of this comment, Jesus. Okay, into a prick. Well edited there, Zach. Acts like he forgot how to speak Cantonese and now does every film in Mandarin. But if I have to talk about the positives, Jackie Chan's best work is usually Hong Kong action comedies with fights that have physical humour. But the 2 films I listened are him doing some dramatic acting with much grittier fights. Okay, that's fair enough. I personally have never seen. I've seen Jackie Chan in what's that stupid kid spy movie called? Spy Next Door or something? Yeah. That's and like Rush Hour, and that's like, So, but Andy, of course, has the Jackie Chan knowledge, so I appreciate that. I trust your insight for sure. And Andy also said, shout out to Keira Knightley in 21st Century set films. That's actually a good one. That's actually good. So even like, because you saw her in Boston Strangler recently, Jan, and that was 20th century, right? If I recall.
Yeah. So is Atonement.
Of course, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah. It's very true. It's a very good argument, actually. Okay, Jaden, you did your research thoroughly here. So, how'd you go?
The first one that came up was the first one that I saw was old mate Shia LaBeouf in Nymphomaniac. You know, bro goes from playing the kind of hero guy in, you know, Transformers and Indiana Jones and shit, and now he's hanging dong and eating pussy. You know, in Nymphomaniac. You know? It's quite the shake up. He's great in it though, fantastic. It really shows that he's actually like a really great actor. But then, you know, I guess there was stuff that came after that. You know, I guess he did take a bit of a serious turn, Peanut Butter Falcon and all that shit, Honey Boy. You know, so maybe it's not completely, yeah, it's not completely out of the. I think it was a start of the change. You know.
Can you make the argument like I think it's still valid if it was for the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even because if they went on and did other shit more like it, but it was outside of the range of this. I think that's valid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And the other one that I came to was Zachary Efron in Iron Claw. You know.
Oh yeah. That's
Bros dish the teen movies, the college comedies. Now he's going full on.
He went right back to Ricky Stenicki though. So.
Yes. Yeah. But that's what that. But this is, you know, this defines out of range. Then, you know.
Yeah. No. True.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
So, you know, shout out, big ups to my boys. Although one of them is not really the greatest one to, you know, shout out. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to forget now, but like Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad, right?
Mm.
It's like I think that's lost to context. I mean, especially for me because I've got no idea. I haven't said anything earlier, but I think that's a fact though.
Yeah. So, sorry to cut in, but I just looked at LaBeouf's fucking Letterboxd profile, and the text is literally about. It's all about him getting sued for relentless abuse rather than actually about him and his career. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Really?
The text is all just documenting his abuse.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Funny as fuck, to be honest. Not the abuse, but like the fact that is what the text is.
Yeah, that would have been done intentionally, I assume.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna see him in Megalopolis though, so get hyped. Maybe. Oh shit! I never thought. Maybe I can't support that. I don't know.
No.
Oh yeah. Well, I said Bryan Cranston. Oh yeah. Well, that's true. Okay. For me, it's got to be. I understand. It might be a boring answer because it's like the whole point of the movie. It's sort of, you know, it's not subtle, but like it's Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, right?
No.
What?
What do you mean? He's fucking playing a cowboy. What do you mean?
No, but it's like he's an evil cowboy.
No, but
he sucks. He's got no morality.
No, yeah, but that's not out of his wheelhouse. He's just playing a different type of fucking cowboy.
That's out of his range.
No, it's not. That is not out of range.
So this is where you see, but this is this
I
is.
thought you were joking. I was like,
what?
Oh, really?
No, that's not out of his range. Unforgiven's supposed to be like it's almost supposed to be like a continuation of like all the cowboy characters if they just kind of continued on the same kind of violent route, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
that's his literal range. Yeah.
Yeah, the range. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's a totally different ethical range.
Yeah,
but I get,
no.
But like genre. Yeah, okay, yeah. Character type. I understand that. I think I had a look through Kenneth Branagh's filmography as well. I think Sator, is out of his range.
What else has he got there?
I had to double check it. But I think it is. I think it stands up because he's played villains, but they're usually more like, you know, like they're like more akin to like Lockhart or something. You know, like, or Lockhart's a bit silly, but you know what I mean, like more like British sort of just like stuck up guys or whatever.
Right.
This is like he's like a Russian mobster thug guy. You know what I
mean? Yeah. But he is like.
I think it's a good answer.
But yeah, could be. I'm not. Let me search up. Let me validate this.
It stuck out to me in the making of Tenet when like Nolan had to keep reminding Kenneth that this guy is just like a total brute, like he sucks. Like, because I think what was happening on set was like Kenneth was like trying to like read into the morality of him and like understand his deeper motivations and like, you know, do all that kind of thing. And Nolan was just like, dude, he's just a Russian mobster. Like he's just an asshole, you know. I think the fact that it was out of Kenneth's range for him as an actor validates the answer.
Okay.
Well, I have a boring answer, which is Jim Carrey and Eternal Sunshine. Yeah, go ahead.
Jesus.
Yeah. No, but
It is obviously valid, yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Do I have to explain it? Is he plays a quiet character? Yeah, that's about as far as out of his range as he could possibly get. So yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of shared kind of characteristics with him and the mask in that film, to be honest. So I don't know, man.
Okay. Are you gonna contradict like everything I said? Or are you gonna like? We're gonna have some agreement, yeah.
No, that was a complete joke.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't act like it, so.
That's me playing along with the joke. You're not realizing the joke. God damn it.
Okay. I like all our answers. You guys didn't like my Eastwood one, but other
No, because it's fucking wrong. Yeah.
I still think there's a different type of range, guys. But I still had another one, so it's fine. There's actually in my research, I actually came across like a lot of good answers for this. But like none that those were like more my answers, like my films I really like. But like, have you guys seen Foxcatcher?
No. But you're going to say
Either of
Steve
you seen it?
Carell? Or?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. How do you feel about Hugh Grant and The Gentleman? I think he's leaning more that way afterwards, but before it was interesting at the time for sure.
Nah, Paddington 2,
Paddington 2?
Yeah.
How is he similar in that? I haven't seen it.
No,
but it's like a kid's movie.
Yeah, but he kind of like there's similarities.
Is there?
Kind of.
Are you? I feel like I've gotten this impression subtly throughout the years of doing this show with you, Jen. You don't seem well versed in Hugh Grant.
What's he in? Notting Hill, or is that a different guy?
Yeah. Notting Hill, and then 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And
yep.
Have you've seen these movies?
Yeah, I've seen 4 Weddings.
Okay, and
what's the other one? Bridget Jones? Is he in Bridget Jones?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think I've seen the first one.
Obviously, Love Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, go like all those kind of things. I think there's another one or two.
Let's see. Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. Mansion About a boy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mm.
No, never mind. You've actually probably seen more than me.
I've seen 12
at this point. Yeah, that's probably more than me. Yeah, okay. Oh no, I feel like it's come up a few times where you don't appreciate the genre change of Hugh Grant, but maybe I'm overestimating it. I don't know. Okay. There's obviously
maybe I am misunderstanding him. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it. I saw he was in fucking
Remains Today.
Yeah, and oh my god,
Wonka.
Sense and Sensibility. I got that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he's kind of that guy in a lot of things. Sandler in Uncut Gems is an obvious one. Jaden hates that movie.
No, false. Sandler has proved time and time again that he has the acting chops to do films like that.
No one's debating his acting chops, but what was a role he'd done previously that was similar to that?
What's the one that you like, Liam? Punch Drunk Love?
I was gonna say that's like more out of his range than Uncut Gems is, but
do you reckon?
Yeah, it's a more subdued performance,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, in that aspect I agree. Yeah, that's true. Do you think?
Oh, I guess the yelling part is like still sounded there. Yeah,
but he yells way more in Uncut Gems.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
And he talks about fucking Furby Jury making him come, so it's pretty.
You love bringing that up. Do you? I think you just think the whole movie is that scene.
The whole movie is fucking pretty much all that shit. Yeah, it's him betting on basketball and selling fucking jewelry. It's shit house, man.
I need to go re-listen to that because I don't really remember it, but it would have been interesting. Is Interstellar outside of Matt Damon's range?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think the character's unique enough to be. I mean, I think it's the ethical thing again that you're talking about because it's just like a bad kind of.
Yeah, it's just a
bad character, but
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Every other aspect of the character is Matt Damon. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, no, that's cool. I think that there was some good examples. We're almost to the segment.
No, we didn't need to do that. I've decided against it.
Really?
Yeah.
You were so keen on it.
Yeah, but then I realized that I feel like it's too happy of an activity to do in such a negative episode.
Oh, okay. All right.
What?
Maybe. Oh, he wanted to open Pokemon cards on the show.
Oh, right. Well, you made this episode negative, Jaden. So,
yeah, it's
you
actually
have
your
yourself
fault.
to blame.
Yeah, no, but your film deserves it, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
You stand by it.
Still doubling down on the negativity.
Yep.
That's fine.
No Pokemon cards for you, listeners.
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
Imagine if I pulled something good in these, mate, you know.
Yeah. That's sad.
I'll do it after the show so you guys can still be involved.
The audience is totally screwed up. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube, Instagram comment sections, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what is a good movie about a sport you don't care about? Let us know. I realized I said about twice in that. I might need to reword that. That's annoying. Okay. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Reflect. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
Well, judging by the question, I guess we're doing Moneyball, which is on Stan. So
long way coming this one.
True.
Long time coming.
On the back shelf for a while, so yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Liam? Or is it only Zach?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
You haven't watched it recently, have you?
No.
Oh, probably about 2 years ago. Yeah, no, so I'm fine.
Okay.
I guess. Oh yeah, I was going to ask how we feel about baseball. We'll get into it. We'll save that for next week. You know, we'll save it. Okay, that's it. I appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care and goodbye.